Finn Sullivan stared at the holographic contract floating above his desk, the blue light illuminating his tired face. His small apartment on Luna Station's maintenance level wasn't much, but it was home, at least until the end of the month, when his reduced salary wouldn't cover even this modest space. Housing opportunity of a lifetime, he muttered, reading the advertisement again. Luxury accommodations in exchange for cultural integration duties, must be single, adaptable, and willing to embrace new experiences. The pay was incredible, and the living space was in the station's prestigious Azure Ring. It had to be a scam. But desperate times called for desperate measures. The station's quantum drive repairs weren't bringing in enough credits since the automated systems took over most of the work. With trembling fingers, he pressed his thumb against the biometric scanner. The contract glowed green, and that was that. 2 weeks later, Finn realized exactly how desperate he'd become. "Welcome, chosen vessel," said a tall woman with iridescent silver skin and ceremonial armor that looked more suitable for a beach party than combat. She introduced herself as First Warrior Lyra Nexus of the Astrid Empire. Behind her stood 3 equally impressive figures, each wearing variations of the same impractical-looking battle gear. "I'm just Finn," he said, trying not to stare at their bioluminescent tattoos. "And this must be some mistake. I signed up to host exchange visitors, not whatever this is." Lyra's golden eyes narrowed. "The contract was clear. You have been selected as the resonance bearer for our battle squadron. We are here to study Earth customs while protecting you from potential assassination attempts." "Assassination attempts?" Finn squeaked. "Of course, your status as our resonance bearer makes you a target for our enemies." The second warrior stepped forward, her midnight blue skin contrasting with chrome-colored hair. "I am Petra Vex, tactical specialist. I have already identified 14 potential sniper positions in this corridor alone." The third warrior, with skin like burnished copper and eyes that seemed to shift colors, gave him a considering look. "I am Kira Dash. My specialty is close-quarter combat and human cultural integration. I have studied your Netflix extensively." The fourth and final warrior remained silent, her obsidian skin seeming to absorb the light around her. Only her silver hair and the geometric patterns flowing across her armor provided any contrast. Lyra noticed his gaze and explained, "That is Raven Storm. She speaks only when necessary, usually before or during combat." Finn slumped against his apartment door. "Look, there has to be some mistake. I'm just a quantum mechanic. I fix engines. I'm not whatever you think I am." "The resonance patterns don't lie," Lyra said firmly. "Our sensors detected your quantum harmonic signature from 3 systems away. You are compatible with our battle-sync technology, which makes you invaluable to the Astrid Empire." "And extremely attractive," Kira added helpfully, making Finn choke on air. "I studied your Earth customs," Petra interjected. "When accepting new roommates, it is traditional to share a meal of pizza and engage in the ritual of getting to know you. I have already ordered this pizza. It will arrive in approximately 7 minutes." Finn looked between the 4 warrior women, each carrying enough advanced technology to probably blow up the entire station, and wondered what exactly he'd gotten himself into. "Right, pizza, that's normal. We can do normal." The next few hours were anything but normal. Watching 4 elite alien warriors try to eat pizza with the solemnity of a sacred ritual was simultaneously hilarious and terrifying. They insisted on scanning each slice for poison, which their advanced systems apparently found in the form of pineapple on one half. "This fruit is a known toxin," Petra declared, her chrome hair bristling with energy. "Actually, that's just a topping preference," Finn tried to explain, but they had already vaporized the offending slices with precision laser fire, leaving the rest of the pizza perfectly intact. As the evening progressed, Finn learned more about his new roommates. The Astrid Empire was a matriarchal society that valued combat prowess and emotional control. These 4 were part of an elite unit sent to Earth space as part of a cultural exchange program, though their definition of cultural exchange seemed to involve a lot more combat training than Finn had expected. "Your living space is inadequate," Lyra announced after their meal. We will need to upgrade the security systems, install quantum shielding, and convert the spare room into a combat simulation chamber. I don't have a spare room, Finn pointed out. Incorrect. Your bedroom will serve as our tactical planning center. You will sleep in the protected chamber we will construct in the living area. Before Finn could protest, Ravenstorm moved for the first time since arriving. She touched a panel on her armor, and a holographic display filled the apartment. Within seconds, his modest home was mapped and overlaid with complex architectural designs. "This is happening, isn't it?" Finn asked nobody in particular. "I really signed up for this." Kira patted his shoulder with surprising gentleness. "Don't worry, Resonance Bearer. We will protect you with our lives. Also, I would very much like to watch this, the Bachelor program I have heard about, for cultural research." That night, as Finn lay in his hastily constructed, protected chamber, which looked suspiciously like a high-tech pillow fort, he could hear his new roommates discussing guard rotations and defense protocols. Part of him wanted to panic, to call station security, to find some way out of this bizarre situation. But another part, the part that had always dreamed of something more than fixing quantum drives, was intrigued. These warriors had chosen him, believed him to be something special, and even if it was all some cosmic mistake, maybe this was his chance for an adventure. As he drifted off to sleep, Ravenstorm's quiet voice carried through the apartment. "He has no combat training, no tactical awareness, and his quantum signature is untamed. But there is something interesting about him." "Yes," Lyra agreed. "The readings don't lie. He is the one we've been searching for. Now we just have to keep him alive long enough to realize his potential." Finn pulled his blanket tighter and wondered what exactly they meant by potential. But that was a problem for tomorrow. Tonight, he just had to get used to the fact that 4 alien warrior women had turned his life upside down, and somehow he had a feeling this was just the beginning. As he finally fell asleep, the last thing he heard was Kira asking, "So when do we tell him about the prophecy?" The others quickly shushed her, but Finn was already dreaming of silver skin, golden eyes, and adventures he never thought possible. 1 month into living with 4 alien warriors, Finn Sullivan had established some house rules. Rule 1, no weapons testing in the kitchen. Rule 2, Netflix is not a tactical training program. Rule 3, Earth clothes are mandatory in public areas. Rule 4, not everything is an assassination attempt. Currently, all 4 rules were being broken simultaneously. "The assassin clearly poisoned the coffee maker," Petra announced, her midnight blue skin gleaming as she aimed an analysis beam at the appliance. She wore her battle armor despite Finn's repeated attempts to introduce her to sweatpants. "That's just Lime's scale," Finn sighed, watching as Kira performed what she called a defensive viewing of Bridgerton in full combat gear. She claimed the show contained vital intelligence about Earth mating rituals. Lyra stood by the window, her silver skin catching the artificial sunlight of Luna Station's dome. The maintenance worker who passed by 17 minutes ago carried a suspicious toolbox. "That's because he's a maintenance worker," Finn explained for the 100th time. "Like me, remember." Only Ravenstorm seemed relatively calm, though she'd positioned herself in what she called an optimal defense stance between Finn and the door. Her obsidian skin absorbed the light as always, making her seem like a living shadow. Life had become a strange mix of domestic comedy and military operation. His apartment now resembled a cross between a high-tech command center and a college dorm room. Quantum shielding hummed in the walls, while takeout containers cluttered the coffee table. "Finn," Kira called from the couch, "explain this enemies to lovers concept. Is it a common Earth battle strategy?" Before he could answer, the station's alert system blared to life. Red lights pulsed through the apartment as an automated voice announced, "Security breach detected in Sector 7. All civilians please remain in designated safe zones." The warriors moved with practiced precision. Lyra's ceremonial armor shifted, plates sliding into combat configuration. "Sector 7 is too close to our position. Petra analysis." Multiple unauthorized entries detected, Petra reported, her chrome hair crackling with energy as she interfaced with the station systems. They're using quantum signature masking technology, similar to Astrid Empire designs, Ravenstorm finished, speaking for the first time that day. Everyone turned to stare at her. Finn felt his heart race. Wait, are these the assassins you've been worried about? Negative, Lyra said, her golden eyes narrowing. These are something worse, renegades from our own empire. They're here for our battlesync technology, and you. Me, what do I have to do with your technology? Kira moved to his side, her copper skin glowing with activated battle runes. Remember how we said you were compatible with our systems? These renegades want to use that compatibility for their own purposes. They believe they can force a sync without consent. Which would kill you, Petra added helpfully. Most unpleasantly. The apartment's defenses hummed to life, energy shields shimmering across windows and doors. Finn watched as his home transformed into a fortress, wondering how this had become his life. We need to move him to a secure location, Lyra commanded. Raven, take point. Petra, scan our exit route. Kira, rear guard. Wait, Finn interrupted. I know this station better than anyone. I've repaired every quantum conduit from here to the docking rings. If we need to hide, I know where to go. The warriors exchanged looks. It was Ravenstorm who nodded first. He's right. His knowledge of the infrastructure could be tactically advantageous. Fine, Lyra conceded, but you follow our protection protocols, no heroics. They moved through the station's maintenance tunnels, Finn leading them through shortcuts he'd discovered during years of repair work. The warriors moved silently despite their armor, while Finn tried his best not to sound like a stumbling cadet. Tell me more about these renegades, he whispered as they navigated a particularly narrow passage. Why are they so interested in your battlesync technology? Lyra hesitated before answering. Our technology allows warriors to share strength, skills, and awareness, but it requires perfect quantum resonance between participants. Finding compatible individuals is rare, especially across species. You're not just compatible, Finn, you're a perfect match. Which makes no sense, Petra interjected. You have no combat training, no tactical augmentations, not even basic battlefield conditioning. Yet your quantum signature aligns with our entire squad. It's unprecedented. And incredibly attractive, Kira added again, making Finn blush despite their dire situation. A distant explosion rocked the station. Petra's sensors flared. They're getting closer, 3 squads, heavy weapons, moving in a search pattern. They reached a junction, and Finn made a quick decision. This way. There's an old maintenance bay that's been off the station's grid since they automated the systems. No power, no sensors, they won't be able to track us there. The bay was dark and cold, filled with decommissioned repair drones and spare parts. As soon as they entered, Ravenstorm moved to secure the perimeter while Petra established a sensor network. Clever choice, Lyra commented, looking at Finn with what might have been pride. Perhaps you have some tactical instincts after all. I just know how to hide from supervisors during break time, he joked weakly. Hours passed in tense silence. The warriors took turns monitoring their surroundings while Finn tried to process everything he'd learned. He was special, apparently. Compatible with alien technology in a way that made him valuable or dangerous, depending on perspective. I don't understand, he finally said to Lyra during her watch. Why me? I'm nothing special. Her golden eyes softened slightly. That's where you're wrong. The battlesync doesn't just measure combat potential. It measures something deeper, harmony, empathy, the ability to connect. In all our centuries of exploration, we've never found anyone like you. Before Finn could respond, Petra's sensors flashed red. They've found us, multiple hostiles converging on our position. How? Kira demanded. This section is completely dark to sensors. Ravenstorm appeared from the shadows. They're not tracking technology, they're tracking him. His quantum signature is getting stronger. All eyes turned to Finn, who noticed for the first time that his skin was giving off a faint blue glow. Lyra's eyes widened. It's starting. The resonance is building naturally. We need to. The bay's doors exploded inward, and chaos erupted. Renegade warriors poured in, their armor darker and more aggressive than his companions. Finn watched in awe as his four roommates moved in perfect synchronization, their fighting styles complementing each other flawlessly. But they were outnumbered, and the renegades were pushing them back. Without thinking, Finn reached out and grabbed Lyra's hand. Energy surged between them, her battle runes lighting up with unprecedented brightness. "What's happening?" he gasped as power flowed through him. Lyra's voice was filled with wonder. "You're syncing with us. Naturally, impossibly, you're amplifying our connection." The tide of battle turned. His warriors moved faster, struck harder, their movements becoming even more synchronized. Finn felt each connection, understood suddenly why he was so important. He wasn't just compatible with their technology, he was a catalyst, making their bonds stronger. As the last renegade fell, Finn looked at his glowing skin and the four warriors who had become so much more than just roommates. "So," he said shakily, "I guess this means we're keeping the apartment." Kira laughed while Petra began analyzing the defeated enemy's technology. Raven Storm simply nodded, a small smile on her usually stoic face. Lyra stepped closer, her golden eyes intense. "We're keeping much more than that, Finn Sullivan. We're keeping you." And somehow, despite the chaos and danger, that felt exactly right. The Luna Station diplomatic office wasn't designed for four heavily armed alien warriors and one glowing quantum mechanic. The receptionist kept glancing nervously at Petra's chrome hair, which was currently crackling with enough energy to short-circuit the entire floor. "Let me get this straight," the diplomatic officer, Jenkins, said while reviewing his holoscreen. "You're requesting official recognition of a quantum resonance bond with Mr. Sullivan, which would grant him protected status under interstellar law." "Correct," Lyra stated, her silver skin shimming with barely contained tension. "The recent attack proves that Finn requires official protection. And this has nothing to do with the fact that the Astrid Empire's High Council has demanded your immediate return." Jenkins raised an eyebrow. Finn's head snapped up. "Wait, what? You're being recalled?" Kira's copper skin darkened with what he'd learned was embarrassment. "We might have forgotten to mention that small detail." "Small detail?" Finn's voice cracked. "When were you planning to tell me?" "Preferably never," Petra muttered, her tactical displays spinning faster. "We had hoped to resolve the situation before it became relevant." Raven Storm, silent as usual, placed a calming hand on Finn's shoulder. The touch sent a wave of reassurance through their developing bond, but it couldn't completely quell his anxiety. Jenkins cleared his throat. "The High Council claims your unit has gone rogue. They say this resonance bond is impossible between species and that you're using it as an excuse to desert your posts." "It's not impossible," Lyra argued, her golden eyes flashing. "Finn's abilities are unprecedented, yes, but they're real. We can prove it." "Please don't prove it," Jenkins said quickly, probably remembering the incident in the maintenance bay. "Look, I sympathize, but without official recognition from your government, my hands are tied. Mr. Sullivan remains a civilian contractor with no diplomatic status." As they left the office, Finn tried to process this new information. "So the entire Astrid Empire thinks you've kidnapped me?" "Not the entire Empire," Kira said brightly. "Just the High Council, most of the military command, and probably that nice cafeteria worker who sends us cookie recipes." "This isn't helping," Petra growled. They reached their apartment, which now resembled a cross between a military bunker and a cozy home, with tactical displays next to house plants and weapon racks beside family photos. The contrast would have been funny if the situation wasn't so serious. "Why didn't you tell me about the recall order?" Finn asked once they were inside. Lyra paced the living room, her armor shifting restlessly. "Because we knew what would happen. The moment we return, they'll separate us. They'll study you, try to replicate the resonance bond artificially. It would be unpleasant. They'll dissect your quantum signature," Petra added helpfully, earning glares from the others. "What? He should know the truth." Finn sank onto their couch, reinforced to handle warrior armor, and looked at the four women who had crashed into his life and completely transformed it. In just 2 months, they'd become more than protectors or even friends. They were family. "So what do we do?" he asked. "We have options," Lyra said, sitting beside him. The others gathered around, their presence both comforting and protective. "We could try to prove the legitimacy of our bond to the High Council, or... or we could run," Kira finished. "There are plenty of independent colonies that would welcome warriors of our caliber." "Running would confirm their suspicions," Petra pointed out. "Besides, Finn's life is here." "My life is with you," Finn said without thinking. The words hung in the air, heavy with meaning. Through their strengthening bond, he felt their reactions, surprise, joy, and something deeper that none of them were ready to name. Ravenstorm moved suddenly, her obsidian skin gleaming as she activated a holographic display. Text scrolled rapidly, classified documents, military reports, and scientific data. "What is this?" Lyra asked, leaning forward. "Evidence," Ravenstorm said softly. "The High Council has known about cross-species resonance potential for decades. They suppressed the research because it threatened their control over the battlesync technology." Everyone stared at her. It was the most they'd ever heard her say at once. "How long have you known about this?" Petra demanded. "Since before we met Finn. It's why I requested assignment to this mission. I've been gathering proof, waiting for the right moment and the right ally." Finn felt a surge of admiration through their bond. Ravenstorm hadn't just been quiet. She'd been careful, planning, protecting them all in her own way. "This changes everything," Lyra breathed. "With this evidence, we can challenge the High Council directly." "It will mean war," Petra warned. "Political at least, possibly more." "We can handle it," Kira said confidently. "We have something they don't, a genuine bond, and Finn." Finn looked at each of them. Lyra's determined expression, Petra's calculating gaze, Kira's encouraging smile, and Ravenstorm's quiet strength. The bond hummed between them, stronger than ever. "There's something else you should know," he said, gathering his courage. "I've been practicing with the resonance when you're not around. Watch." He concentrated, letting the energy flow naturally. Blue light rippled across his skin, and suddenly the apartment's quantum systems surged to life. Displays flickered, weapons hummed, and the very air seemed to vibrate with power. "Impossible," Petra whispered, her sensors going wild. "You're interfacing with our technology independently. That's not just resonance, that's true synchronization." Lyra reached for his hand, her golden eyes wide. The moment their skin touched, the energy doubled. One by one, the others joined, forming a circle. The power between them built until the apartment's reinforced windows rattled. "Still want to tell the High Council I'm impossible?" Finn asked with a small smile. "They're not ready for you," Kira laughed, "for any of this." "Then we make them ready," Lyra decided. "We present our evidence, demonstrate our abilities, and force them to acknowledge what's happening. No more hiding." "No more hiding," the others agreed. As they began planning their next move, Finn realized something had shifted. They weren't just protecting him anymore. They were protecting each other, and something larger than themselves. A future where bonds like theirs weren't just possible but celebrated. "One condition," he said suddenly, "before we take on an entire empire's worth of political intrigue." "Name it," Lyra said. "We're getting dinner, a real dinner, all of us somewhere nice. No weapons scanning, no tactical analyses, just us." "You mean like a date?" Kira asked hopefully. "Exactly like a date." The warriors exchanged looks, then broke into various expressions of agreement, from Lyra's subtle smile to Kira's beaming grin. Even Ravenstorm nodded, her usually stoic expression softening. "A tactical dinner engagement," Petra mused. "I can work with that." As they prepared to leave, Finn watched his unlikely family and felt the warmth of their bond. Whatever came next, political battles, high council confrontations, or just figuring out how to date 4 alien warriors simultaneously, they would face it together. And somehow, that made everything else seem manageable. The High Council's delegation arrived on Luna Station exactly 1 week after what Kira had dubbed their tactical dinner engagement. Their arrival ship was massive, decorated with the ornate symbols of the Astrid Empire and bristling with enough weaponry to level a small continent. "They're compensating for something," Petra muttered as they watched from their apartment's reinforced window. Her chrome hair sparked with nervous energy. "Focus," Lyra commanded, though Finn could feel her anxiety through their bond. Her silver skin seemed paler than usual. "We stick to the plan, present the evidence, demonstrate our abilities, and maintain a united front." "While looking fabulous," Kira added, adjusting her ceremonial armor. She'd spent hours polishing its copper accents to match her skin tone. Ravenstorm stood silently by the door, but her obsidian skin rippled with subtle patterns, a sign of emotional turmoil that Finn had learned to recognize. "It's going to be fine," he assured them, trying to project confidence through their shared connection. "We have truth on our side, and really impressive explosions if needed." "That's Plan B," Petra confirmed. The meeting was set in Luna Station's grand conference chamber. As they walked through the corridors, Finn noticed how other residents cleared a path, not out of fear, as they had in the beginning, but with respectful nods. In the months since the warriors' arrival, they'd become part of the station's community. The High Council representatives were exactly as imposing as Finn had imagined. Tall, elaborately armored figures with metallic skin in various noble hues. Their leader, Supreme Commander Valdix, had platinum skin that made Lyra's silver tone seem almost humble in comparison. "Warriors of the 4th Quantum Battalion," Valdix's voice boomed across the chamber. "You stand accused of desertion, unauthorized experimentation with restricted technology, and," her eyes fixed on Finn, "inappropriate fraternization with a lesser species." "Rude," Finn muttered. Lyra stepped forward, her posture perfect. "Supreme Commander, we come bearing evidence that will change everything you think you know about quantum resonance technology." "Your evidence is irrelevant," Valdix dismissed. "The human's apparent compatibility is a malfunction, nothing more. He will be taken to our research facilities for study, and you will return to your posts." "That's not happening," Kira said, moving closer to Finn. Valdix's eyes narrowed. "You forget your place, warrior. Your emotional attachment to this creature proves how far you've fallen from our ideals. The 4th Battalion was once legendary for its discipline." "Maybe that's because we never knew what we were missing," Petra countered, her tactical displays spinning faster. "The resonance bond isn't just about combat efficiency. It's about connection, trust, actual emotions, everything you tried to engineer out of us." "Treasonous words," Valdix hissed. "Guards, seize them, and be careful with the human specimen. We need it intact for study." The chamber erupted into chaos as elite guards moved in. Finn watched in horror as his warriors engaged them, not with their usual fluid grace, but with desperate, protective fury. The bond between them surged with fear and determination. "Stop," he shouted, and something in his voice made everyone freeze. Blue light rippled across his skin, brighter than ever before. "You want to see what a malfunction looks like? Fine, watch this." He reached out, not with his hands, but with the quantum energy flowing through him. Every piece of Astrid technology in the room responded. Weapons, armor, even the decorative emblems on the walls. They all pulsed in sync with his energy. "Impossible," Valdix breathed. "You keep using that word," Finn said, feeling stronger as his warriors moved to stand beside him. "But here's the thing about impossible. Sometimes it just means you're not brave enough to try." He opened himself fully to the bond, letting power flow between all 5 of them. Their combined energy filled the chamber with swirling lights and humming resonance. Guards stumbled back as their own armor responded to the harmonics. "What you call a malfunction," Lyra addressed the stunned council members, "we call evolution. The next step in quantum resonance technology, not forced compatibility but natural harmony." Ravenstorm stepped forward, projecting her gathered evidence onto the chamber's walls. "The Empire has suppressed research into emotional resonance for centuries, fearing it would weaken our warriors. Instead, it has made us stronger. Look at your sensors, Petra challenged. Analyze the energy patterns. This isn't just compatibility, it's synergy beyond anything your engineered systems can achieve. Kira grinned. Also, we've been teaching him combat dancing. He's getting quite good. The chamber fell silent as Valdix and her council members huddled around their data displays. Finn held his breath, maintaining the energy field around them. Through their bond, he felt his warriors' unwavering support, and something else, something deeper that had been growing since that first chaotic day. Finally, Valdix looked up. Her expression was unreadable. This changes everything. That's what we've been trying to tell you, Finn said. You understand, Valdix continued, that if we acknowledge this bond, it will transform our entire society. Other warriors will demand the freedom to form their own connections. The strict hierarchy of our empire will be challenged. Good, Lyra said firmly. Maybe it's time for a change. Valdix's eyes narrowed. And you're willing to face the consequences of such change, all of you. Finn felt his warriors' responses through their bond before they spoke. Determination, courage, and absolute certainty. We are, they said in unison. What happened next would change the course of two civilizations. But at that moment, standing united with his impossible family, Finn realized something important. You know, he said as the council members argued among themselves, we're missing the season finale of that show Kira's obsessed with. Priorities, Finn, Petra sighed, but he felt her amusement through their bond. Actually, Ravenstorm said softly, I recorded it. Everyone stared at her. What? She shrugged. Even warriors need to know if they get together in the end. And somehow, in the middle of this historic moment, surrounded by the most powerful members of an alien empire, they all started laughing. Because that's what family does. They find joy in the chaos, hope in the impossible, and love in the most unexpected places. The real challenge would come next, as they faced the changes they had set in motion. But for now, they had each other, a recorded season finale, and a quantum bond that defied explanation. It was more than enough. 6 months after the High Council confrontation, Finn's apartment had undergone another transformation. The tactical displays remained, but they now shared space with a growing collection of family photos, movie night memorabilia, and the small garden Kira had started after discovering Earth plants. The hydrangeas are developing excellent tactical coverage, Petra noted, analyzing the blue blooms that matched her midnight skin. Though I still say we should have installed defensive thorns. No weaponized plants, Finn called from the kitchen, where he was attempting to teach Lyra the art of making pancakes. Her silver skin was dusted with flour, and her usually perfect posture was relaxed as she concentrated on not burning breakfast. You're getting better, he encouraged as she flipped a mostly circular pancake. Much better than the plasma-cooked ones from last week. Those were tactically efficient, she defended, but her golden eyes sparkled with amusement. Ravenstorm sat at their reinforced dining table, quietly updating their family calendar, which now included everything from combat training sessions to movie nights to diplomatic meetings. Her obsidian skin reflected the morning light as she added a new event. First official mixed-species Quantum Resonance Academy opening ceremony. The academy had been Finn's idea, born from the chaos following the High Council's reluctant acceptance of their bond. Other warriors had indeed started seeking their own connections, and Earth had suddenly found itself hosting dozens of curious astrid visitors hopping to understand this new phenomenon. Remember when we thought teaching you Earth customs was challenging? Kira laughed, tending to her plants. Now we're going to be teaching an entire academy of warriors how to watch Netflix properly. Among other things, Finn smiled. The academy would focus on more than just cultural exchange. It would teach both species how to navigate these new bonds, how to balance strength with emotion, discipline with connection. Their own bond had only grown stronger over the months. What started as a quantum resonance had evolved into something deeper, more complex, and infinitely more beautiful than any of them had imagined. A gentle alert chimed through their apartment. "Incoming transmission from the High Council," their system announced. "Put it through," Lyra commanded, hastily wiping flour from her face. Supreme Commander Valdix's holographic form appeared in their living room, stepping carefully around Kira's plants. The past months had changed her too. Her rigid platinum features had softened slightly, though she still maintained her imposing presence. "4th Battalion," she greeted them, then added with only slight hesitation, "Finn." "Supreme Commander," they responded, gathering naturally around Finn. Their protective formation had become so instinctive they didn't even think about it anymore. "The final preparations for the Academy are complete," Valdix reported, "though I must express concern about your unconventional curriculum." "You mean the mandatory movie nights?" Finn asked innocently. "Among other things, combat dancing, emotional resonance meditation, couples cooking classes. All essential for proper quantum harmonization," Petra stated with complete seriousness. Her tactical displays showed extensive data backing up this claim, most of it creatively interpreted. Valdix sighed, a very human gesture she'd picked up recently. "I suppose you have proven that conventional methods are not always best. The preliminary results from other forming bonds are promising, different than yours, but each unique in their own way." "That's the point," Lyra said softly. "These bonds can't be forced into a single pattern. They grow according to the individuals involved." "Like my hydrangeas," Kira added helpfully. "Please stop comparing complex quantum phenomena to Earth flora," Petra muttered, but their bond rippled with affection. Valdix's hologram flickered as she consulted something off-screen. "There is one other matter. The Empire's scientists have finally completed their analysis of your combined resonance patterns. They've termed it a quantum entanglement of unprecedented emotional and tactical synchronization. In other words, we're getting quantum married," Finn blurted out. The room fell silent. Through their bond, emotions swirled: surprise, joy, nervousness, and overwhelming love. "That is one interpretation," Valdix said carefully, "though I'm not sure Earth or Empire law has quite caught up to the concept." "When has law ever caught up to us?" Ravenstorm spoke up, making everyone jump. She smiled, a rare and beautiful sight. "We've been making our own rules since the beginning." Finn looked at his warriors, his family, and felt their bond pulse with shared certainty. "She's right. We've never fit any normal definition. Why start now?" "Then it's settled," Lyra declared, pulling him close. "We'll add our own ceremony to the Academy's opening. Show everyone what's possible when you ignore impossible." "With appropriate tactical considerations," Petra added. "And flowers," Kira bounced excitedly. "And family," Ravenstorm finished softly. Valdix's hologram watched them with what might have been fondness. "I'll update the Empire's records accordingly, though I'm not quite sure what category to file this under." "Try miracles," Finn suggested, surrounded by the love of 4 impossible women. "Or maybe just home." After Valdix signed off, they stood together in their apartment, their home, feeling the bond that had brought them together pulse with possibilities. The Academy would open soon, bringing new challenges and adventures. Other bonds would form, each unique, each precious in their own way. But this one, this impossible, beautiful connection between a quantum mechanic and his warrior women would always be special. Because it had come first, had broken through centuries of rigid tradition, and had proven that the strongest bonds aren't forged in battle, but in quiet moments of trust, in shared laughter, in pancake batter and movie nights and gentle touches. "So," Kira said brightly, "does this mean we get a honeymoon?" "Only if it includes appropriate defensive fortifications," Petra insisted. "And no paperwork," Lyra added, still traumatized from their last diplomatic incident. "And all of us," Ravenstorm said quietly, speaking for them all. Finn looked around at his family, at Lyra's flower-dusted silver skin, Petra's sparking chrome hair, Kira's copper glow among her plants, and Ravenstorm's gentle obsidian smile. The quantum energy that had first brought them together now flowed naturally between them, a constant reminder of their unique bond. All of us, he agreed, always. And in the end, that's what their story was really about. Not just about warriors and quantum mechanics, not about breaking traditions or forming new ones. It was about finding family in the most unexpected places, about love that defied explanation, and about making the impossible possible. One pancake, one movie night, one quantum leap of faith at a time. Because sometimes the best things in life come from signing contracts without reading the fine print. Especially when those things include 4 warrior women who turn your world upside down and make it infinitely better in the process.